Hey, it's Kevin from Cuca, and I am back in my country of Canada. We're taking a few weeks, kind of just chilling out with the family, kind of catching up because the year's been a bit crazy, and being faithful to local products, which is what we've always been. Now's an amazing opportunity to reconnect to some of those nostalgic, amazing products that I grew up with, and I don't always have the chance to cook. So today we're going to tackle Dungeness crab. Bum, 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 bum. One of the most scary, for lack of a better word, uncertain, unsure, daunting physical tasks that we could get into, taking fresh crab and preparing delicious dinner. That process we're going to hammer today. But first, we need the ingredients. Fingers crossed, they will have crab. Let's go. Now, we've found our crabs. We found our crabs. And what you're looking for in this case would be size. Obviously, you want something large enough that there's something inside to bloody eat. And you're looking for feistiness. The longer they sit in this tank, the more they start to break down, the more soft the flesh becomes, and the less there is to eat. So, angry, fresh crabs. And Christina's going to grab the crabs for us, and then we're right in to processing. So we've got our crab. And now what we need to do is come up with a way to cook it. And this is a technique that is masterful. What we do is we gather the fresh seaweed from the ocean. And it can be a combination of a few seaweeds or bigger kelp. But the idea is to keep the flavors of the ocean and the crab together. So what we're going to do is beautiful ocean stones that we basically are just going to gather from around the front of the actual ocean area here by the beach, and seaweed, and we're going to layer first the stones. We're then going to drape the stones in seaweed, and then we're going to get a bit of ocean water. And the ocean water is going to just cover the stones, and the crabs are going to sit on top of that, and we're going to cover them. So the goal would be is to steam the crabs in their natural environment, preserving all of the oceanic flavor they have, and not giving any of that to the water. So we're not making soup. We're making the most delicious, flavorful crab you could possibly imagine, and this becomes a bit of our pantry. So, success! We've got our crabs and we've got all the ingredients that we require for our crabs. Now, the first thing when you're handling live seafood is you got to be careful. I mean, these are not gigantic crabs, but you can clearly see these can latch on to pieces of your body, and they don't want to be dinner. They will inflict damage and pain as quickly as you can possibly imagine. So the way to hold a crab, one finger on the front, and you're going to go 4 fingers on the back. 4 fingers on the back. Now, distinguishing a male crab from a female crab has to do with this area right here. If this is long and skinny, male crab. If it's more of a circle, that'd be a female crab. Female crabs are illegal to remove from the ocean because they're required for duplication and the sustainability of life. So we have 3 crabs. 3 crabs today, and this is how we're going to do this. What we need to do is we need to clean the crab, then we're going to organize the cooking vessel, then we're going to cook the crabs, then we're going to eat the crabs. So, without ado, let's take you to cooking and cleaning the crabs. So, you've got Mr. Crab, and what we need to do, lovingly, what we need to do is we're going to split the body. We're going to remove all of the things, they call it crab butter, which is kind of all the livers and the insides. Now, this is a lot of the filtration of the toxins of the ocean. So you can eat it, you can make stuff with it. If you do eat it, you don't want to be eating it like every day. That would be a major problem. We're going to skip it, and we're going to focus on the deliciousness of the meat. So, how you deal with this thing? You are going to put your fingers underneath here and here, okay? And you're going to basically put on the back the balance. So we've got everything here. Then what we're going to do is in the center, we're going to give it a whack. Then, by holding on to these, we're going to twist left and right. And you can see here you've got all this, and it's all good. You give it a little shaky shake, that cleans it. We're going to do the same with the other side. And that leaves us with basically the legs, the top of the body that has all this kind of juice and kind of wonderful livers, and this is all good stuff. You can use this in a soup, you can use it to finish a pasta, you can use it as face cream, maybe not. So, after we have it, the reason we're going to break it down into the edible meat is merely because we've got 3 crabs, we have 1 pot. The minute we start cooking whole crabs, there's just a lot of shell, and we don't need it. We just simply don't need it. We're going to save the top shell, and these, and what we're probably going to end up doing, roasting them, smashing them down, making some type of soup or a sauce for a pasta. Once we have our legs, all we're going to do is give them a little rinsey poo, and we're going to remove the gills. These are the gills. The gills are bitter and not to be eaten. And now you've got, from a whole crab, you've basically got the beautiful, delicious, edible body and the legs. And this is the goal of the exercise. So we're going to continue with processing the crabs. We are ready to get going with the crab. Now what we've done is, you remember before it was Mr. Whole Crab with legs and blah, blah, blah. We hit the back, we removed the legs and the main body. We then shook away, both from the leg meat as well as from all the inside of the shell, we shook away all this kind of crab butter. Now this stuff is magic, but used in the right dishes in the right quantities. What we're going to do is, after we're done eating all the crab, we're going to roast all the shells in the oven, then we're going to make a stock with the roasted shells, and we're going to finish it with the crab butter, and that will kind of give us a soup sauce bisque that then we can use in pasta and everything else, blah, 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 blah. So this is going in the oven. We are left with cleaned, beautiful meat and legs of crab. We have a pot, and these are our steps. Step number 1, we're going to add the stones that we collected to the bottom of the pot. You're looking at 1 layer. 1 layer of ocean stones. Done. So the idea with the stones is to elevate the cooking meat from the bottom of the pot, the direct heat source, and from the water. So nothing is touching the crab. It's basically floating in this wonderful, steamy, warm environment, right? 212 degrees with a lid, steaming, not absorbing any other flavors and not losing any of its natural flavors. The idea is to keep it as natural as humanly possible. So, stones. Then we're going to go seaweed. Now, we don't have sandy beaches. So if this was Bali, you'd need to clean away this beautiful fine particled sand. Here, we give it a quick rinse, and we've basically got seaweed right from the beach. Which seaweed? This is a bit of seagrass, a bit of sea kelp. As long as it's seaweed, you're good to go. That is then going to sit on top of the stones, and then we're going to add the ocean water. The ocean water. Now, if you don't have ocean water, now this is just to cover the stones. Just to cover the stones, maximum. Now, if you don't have ocean water, you're looking at about 25 to 30 grams of salt per liter, and that will recreate that environment. So now we've got the stones, the water, the seaweed, and we're gonna lay in the crabs. So the crabs, we're just gonna lay right on top of the seaweeds, okay? Now, you can also, at this stage, add potatoes and make it a full dinner. So I'm gonna throw in 6, 7 potatoes, which is exactly what we're gonna be having for tonight, as you can see. And then the crab is gonna sit on top. So the crab is just gonna sit all on top of there, just like that. And then what we will do, okay, what we will do is bring the whole thing up to a boil. Now this is gonna boil immediately because there's only a small amount of water. Bring the whole thing up to a boil, we're gonna cover it. We're gonna cook it around 6 to 8 minutes maximum. It takes very little for it to cook. And the minute it's cooked, we're just gonna kick the lid back, let it cool down to warm as opposed to burn your face off hot, and it's oven's ready, and we're straight into eating and attacking the crab. Coming soon, physically putting crab in my face.
A few minutes later.
So crab's done, 7 minutes cooking, 7 minutes just relaxing and resting and allow it to cool down. As I pull off the lid, what you can see is these wonderful chunks of legs are beautifully steamed and full of moisture, full of meat, not overcooked and not boiled away. And then underneath we have the potatoes that are beautifully steamed, and you can see that none of this, you see at the bottom there's just the smallest amount of water, and all of that was just being coated in salty ocean bubbles. To serve this with, we're gonna just dump it onto the table, and I've made melted butter with toasted garlic and then just a big lemon end with a bit of juice. I just squeeze that right in, and we're just gonna go like this, and then like this, and then like that. Dinner served.